As we continue our discussion, comparison of Siarre Evans and Destiny Mitchell this week on Inside Bucs Sports, I'm joined back here in the studio by Don Helman, the real voice of the Lady Bucs. 7 years, and 4 of those years involved Siarre Evans, just an outstanding player and also an outstanding person off the floor. Give me your impressions watching from a broadcaster's perspective of this young lady.
You know, I think Siarre very possibly might have been the best basketball player overall that I've ever had the opportunity to cover. Get an opportunity to see her in depth on a regular basis, cover her games. She just had a determination, a grind that you don't see every day in basketball players. There were so many different things that she could do, and she just got better and better every year through her 4 years here.
And also during that 4-year time span, of course, she was riddled by injury, along with her playing partner in Letitia Belcher. Taronda Wiles had a little injury, but nobody more often, it seemed like, than Siarre. Nobody could play through it tougher.
Well, and that was one of the things that I was talking about, where she had that grind, where she just had the determination that she wasn't going to let anything hold her back. And so often she fought through a knee injury her junior and senior year, and some pain in that. Did occasionally miss some practice, may have missed, I may have missed a game here or there. But she was just the type of player that wanted to go out, wanted to be out on the floor, wanted to do whatever she could to help her team.
And she did. She helped them to 3 back-to-back ASUN championships, 4 straight postseason appearances, so a lot of hardware for Siarre. And when you compare her to Destiny Mitchell, Don, I know you've been at the games and listened and joined me along for the last couple of seasons, and watching these two players, there's a lot of similarities, there's a few differences between them.
You know, I see a lot of similarities, and I think Destiny, from the time she was brought in at ETSU, she was compared to Siarre, and maybe unfairly so. You know, you hear so many people talk about people being compared to Michael Jordan. Well, this guy's going to be the next Michael Jordan. I don't know that that's a fair comparison, because people aren't always the same as those players are compared to. But she has a lot of determination. We saw a lot of that late in the season this past year. She has that ability to take over a game, to attack the basket, and just be determined to make something happen, and to go after the basketball and rebound. It takes a special talent to really be able to get in position and go after the basketball, rather than, say, just stand around and wait for it, that you see a lot of female basketball players do. Siarre didn't do that. Destiny doesn't do that. So there were a lot of similarities. The biggest difference I see is Destiny has not developed that outside game. Siarre had the outside game when she came to state. She improved it as she went through her 4 years. Destiny has not really developed that yet, and it's something I think that I'd like to see her try to develop. I don't know that she'll ever get to the point where Siarre was, but I'd like to see her try to develop, and I think it would help the team.
And in the last 2 years, certainly going to need a lot of help kind of getting back to where they were. You've got Florida Gulf Coast is now eligible for postseason play. They won the tournament this year. Last question, while we have a little bit of time left. The sky seems to be the limit for Destiny in her years as a junior and senior leader. She's been an underclassman, and while she's performed well on the floor, now she can really be that apex player, the leader on and off the floor, and also continue to drive the program to success.
I'd go back to the last half of this past year again. We saw her try to pick this team up and help carry them. It was a team that kind of floundered at times during the year, looking for a leader, and I think that she's got the capability of going out and being that leader. And now she's going to be, while not a senior, she'll be a junior, she'll be an upperclassman. I think she's in a position to be able to step up her game and provide that leadership on and off the court.
Don, thanks so much for your insight on both Siarre and Destiny Mitchell. That will do it for Georgia Girls, a coverage of 2 of the best players in recent history in the women's basketball program here at ETSU. So a little bit more to come on Inside Bucs Sports.